We'll just go straight into it. So this one right here. So here you're up 1000 gold and we have 3 drakes. So obviously we want to play for drake if we can. And then when you see Silas going top, that's fine because he still has TP. So the main thing here is we want to push mid so that in case that they go here, that we can just walk mid lane and start pushing mid lane to potentially break down mid tower and mid inhib, and then after that move in towards topside jungle and get vision of Baron. That is what we need the mid lane wave for. But here when you see Brand recalling, this is when you have to say, okay, we have to play this fight slow. Because even if he TP's in, this guy's not here.
When did this guy TP back?
He just recalls here. So here you need to either spam ping that he should not recall, or if he does recall, then you have to go mid.
Did he just attack the fucking like the like? Okay, so he's half HP right there because they like what the fuck is he doing?
I don't know. But as soon as you see this guy recalling and he decides to recall, then you have to play really, really slow. So they will start Drake, that's fine. We just need to make sure that we don't die. If they finish Drake, that's also okay. Because it's not game changing for them getting the Drake. If we get it, that's game changing. But right now, we cannot fight if this guy's not here. So if they take Drake in the meanwhile, that's fine. Then we just have to go mid. Look at the mid lane wave.
Yeah, we can take at least tower and or something like that.
Yeah, that will be the trade-off. So we cannot die here, because if we die here, then they can take Drake, and they could also take Baron.
Oh.
So you have to play this fight really, really slowly. If you see that they decide to just commit onto the Drake, well, then just spam ping, yo guys, let's commit and take the inhib, because then you're trading. We cannot give them Drake and not do anything about it. We have to trade. So in this situation, best thing we can trade is mid tower, because Baron is too risky. We don't have enough Baron damage in order to take it fast enough. So when you see that they commit onto it, then here we don't want to fight. Even if he TPs, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we are still...
Because Brand is still not here.
Yeah.
And we still don't have full vision. I mean, if we take it from our point of view. We're running into them. So here you have to take the decision of, you see Brand recalling right here. They decide to play for it. Okay, then we go mid. Take this, move into his topside jungle. Take away his topside camps. Maybe take the top scuttle. Maybe we can even push the tier 2 tower. Otherwise, then we base, play to Baron. Because the problem is, they win the fight, they take Drake. They could also take Baron. And then they could sit and chill until the next Drake.
No, that was
right here.
The burning point. It was
the next thing. Up until that Drake, you played good. But at that Drake call, you have to just realize, oh, Brand is not there. I cannot fight. We should just go mid. And here, same thing. The next Drake is about to spawn. There's no reason for us to go in with K'Sante. What you have to do is you have to, again, support what is happening mid lane. So go here, not here, because there's no vision. You don't have vision here, you don't have vision here, they can dash over the wall here. They could be walking around here. We don't know where they're coming from. So you can only go where you have vision. And then you're also focusing a Garen. Like, probably the worst guy to focus in the entire fight. Like, if you want to kill someone, you want to kill Ashe. If not Ashe, then Seraphine. If not Seraphine, then Vlad. If not Vlad, then Graves. And if not Graves, then you don't want to even hit Garen.
Yeah. So
because of this death, then now they get the Baron for free. Because Brand then goes in, then you cannot trade Drake, unfortunately. So it is just because of you as a team are not functioning when it comes to playing together. So basically what your teammates ends up doing, you have to take a decision based off. You cannot say, oh, I'm gonna take the fight because we should take the fight. Yes, we should take the fight. But if your Brand is recalling, then we cannot take the fight anymore. Then you have to adapt and say, okay, what's the next best thing we can do? Oh, we can trade mid. Same thing here. If he ends up dying here, then sure, you can try and go for the steal, but I think you just jump in too late. And the reason why you can go for the steal here is because Baron is already down, so even you dying here doesn't matter too much. So here, just focus on EQ. I think you should jump in. EQ should do like 600. It does 800, so you can jump in. I mean, technically you can jump in at 2k, but I would probably jump in at 1.8. So I would jump in now. You actually do, but they just insta-bursted, so...
I couldn't even smite it, so...
Nah, there was not too much. They just bursted too fast.
Yeah.
And then after that, then again, just lack of team play. Enemy team is outscaled, so they're not chilling with 7k gold lead on Baron, so you're not really gonna win unless enemy team ends up throwing.
You think that the game would be different if my team, like my mid lane and my ADC, would have played better?
It doesn't change anything. The only thing that changes anything is the fact that we didn't get Drake. And we took a bad decision based off what Brand did. What Brand did was incorrect recalling, but what we did incorrect was taking a fight that we couldn't take. We should just have went mid. It doesn't change how our AD carry and mid laner played. So doesn't change anything. So it's just team play.
So even if they go like 0-7 or 0-8 or like if they are completely feeding, it doesn't matter. I can still win at this point by just playing as a team.
Oh, right now you're ahead.
Yeah.
You're ahead by 1k gold and 3 drakes. And even in towers you're up. You individually, you are up almost 2k gold. It's only your mid laner who's behind right now, actually. He's the only one. Your AD carry is also ahead.
Okay.
So only mid lane is behind, but that doesn't matter because as a team you're ahead here. But we take the wrong decision that punishes us really hard because now we lose the fight plus Drake, and we could also have lost Baron. So we're 1k up. Now we are almost 2k down.
We never take like in any circumstances we never take this fight, right?
No, you never take this fight because Brand is not there. It has to be 5v5. You should always have the mindset of if you're outnumbered, you cannot fight.
Even if I'm fed, like, I don't know.
I mean, if everyone is fed, then you can, but that does not change it from being technically a bad fight. It's just because you're fed. It's still a bad fight, but you're just fed enough to take a bad fight. It's like, it's like you go down a dark alley and you see 2 guys and you decide to provoke them. And then they end up attacking you. But luckily you were a fucking beast and you're 100 kg and you smash both of them. Still not a good idea to take the fight. But you are strong enough and you have done not enough combat experience that you can take those fights. Doesn't change the fact that technically it's a bad and stupid fight to take. Same thing here. Okay. Just because you are really fucking fed and you can one-shot everyone, the idea of taking a fight where you're being outnumbered is technically not good. But technically you can't because you're fed enough and strong enough to do it. But the idea behind the fight is still not to fight. And here you're not ahead. You are ahead by 1k, which is almost nothing. So we cannot 4v5. If you're up by 10k, then maybe some people would say, okay, we can fight. And maybe you can, but the idea itself is not the best.
So I don't, like, if I'm ever, like, in a situation where I need to fight, or, like, where was this situation 4v5, and then I will think at the things you said about the dark alley.
I mean, it's just if they are like here, they are 5 people, so you cannot enter here. So you have to go here and you have to take everything here. This is what you can take. They take this, yes, it sucks. This is what we wanted, but then we just take this as 4 people, and then Brand will eventually come, and then we can wait for them to walk into us. Because right now we will walk into them, and we're being outnumbered. So that's just bad across the board. After that, then they will go as 5, but then we are grouped as 5 up here, but they now have to run into us. That's what ends up happening.
We have the vision advantage over them.
They have no vision here.
Yeah.
We also don't have any vision, but we will get vision. The reason why we don't have vision is because we're not going topside now when we can take top. So at some point you just have to say, we give it. And instead go mid, you take this, you take this. If they go here, you walk up. If they go here, then you just, again, walk pretty much the same way, like up and up or behind. That's the way you walk. And then you just take control of this area, and then they have to run into you, because Baron is up. So there's a reason for them to go into topside. Yes, they take the Drake, but they still are now threatened by Baron. Just like if you went here, and you couldn't take the Drake, and you see them suddenly on Baron, well then you end up taking the trade, right? But let's say Drake wasn't up, and there was no Drake right now and only Baron, and it looked like this, well then you have to go as 5 people. But at least you're grouped as 5, you just don't have the vision yet. But here you can take free vision, have them run into you, and they will have to answer it. They will probably answer it with an Ashe E, but then you wait out the Ashe E, right? So again, just playing it slow. And even if they get this Drake, it's only the first one. So then you can say, okay, we lost 1 Drake, but at least we didn't give them gold. And then you wait 5 minutes. Okay, maybe now you have 2k gold lead instead of 1k. Then it looks a little bit better. Or you're grouped a little bit better. Or enemy team is the one who has like low HP support. Or someone just burned their flash or is off position on map, something like that, right? You have to wait for your opportunity to take the best chance.
I have a question about like Kha Zix in general.
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone who wrote why evolve Q if you go assassin. Is it like I know that most like high elo player go R evolve, but that's only high elo, right?
I mean, there are also some people in high elo that do Q evolve.
Okay, so it doesn't matter like if I evolve Q or like R. Because I know that just like watching you play in games, I know that you can just go R evolve with like the blue pet, right? Like you have shit
Mm-hmm.
tons of movement speed. So with that, you can easily go up to someone and then kill him. And
Yes.
uh, but for me, I don't know if that like I feel like if I don't evolve Q, I feel like I lack damage. I don't know why.
So if you're fighting here, then Q evolve is better. And if you fight here, Q evolve is better. If you fight here, R evolve is better. If you fight here, R evolve is better. If you fight here, R evolve is better.
So
And
R
then
evolve is just for
1v1 is
lanes.
Q. And team fight is R. So every 1v1 you win with Q evolve. But team fights is with R.
So I kind of have the playstyle of uh sneaking up to like the squishies of the enemy team while they are
Mm-hmm.
team fighting and killing them and then going out.
Mm-hmm.
Would my playstyle would be like would it be then evolve R and at level 6?
R
Or should
evolve
I?
is better if you want to engage from a bush onto someone and flank. You still do the same combo, the difference is just you have more invis. So you have 3 times 2-second invis. Here
Okay.
you only have 2 times 1.5. But essentially you still want to engage with your R. And then after that you will auto and then you will Q. You can also throw W in there, so W auto Q. And then you use your E to get out.
Okay. Uh, what is the evolve spell on level 16 then? Is it like E or is it Q?
Then you'll do this. I have seen some people do both, but doesn't really make sense. I mean, if they're really 1v9, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But in most games, you're not going to be able to 1v9 when you get in higher elo. Like these games, you can 1v9 like very early game.
Mm.
Like in this game, you did good up until this point, right? So the first like 20 minutes of the game, you did good. Also, you have 2 deaths, so maybe that could be a little bit less. You could maybe have invaded a little bit more and done things smoothly, but for this level of play, you're doing good in the first 20 to 23 minutes of the game.
Okay.
But then it comes to the fight in here. You have to not be here. You have to shot call and say, guys, let's go here. The fight here was also bad. Focused the wrong target. It was not good. Then what else? Yeah, I mean, these were the two main deaths that were bad no matter what. Like, then it doesn't matter how fit you are or what build you're doing. It's just bad decision making. It doesn't matter what champion you're playing. Like, you can just not fight there in those areas and focus those champions.
So my problems, what I need to work on is like decision making, right?
For this game, decision making. In the previous game that we watched, it was dying too much and not fighting together with your teammates. And here it's a little bit the same thing, because here you're fighting with people, but you're not fighting with Brand, and it's a 5v5. So you need to fight with everyone, and you decide to fight not with everyone. If there are 4 people, then you can also fight 4v4. That's fine, but when there are 5, you also need to be 5. And when you're not 5, then you just have to say, okay, we cannot fight. And that sucks, but that comes with discipline, saying, okay, we're gonna give it, I will get another chance. It's better to say, okay, I will get a second chance, than say, I'm gonna risk everything on a shit chance. Like, there is maybe a 10% chance that that play works, and we decide to take it, instead of saying, okay, we will have a 50% chance in 5 minutes.
Okay, so I need to work on decision making and adapt to the situation.
Just knowing when to fight and when not to fight. And when you don't want to fight, then you have to cross map and say, what can I get on the other side of the map?
Okay.
So you need to figure out, when is it a good fight, when is it a bad fight? When should I give objective, when should I trade objectives?
Okay.
And this comes down to looking at where are your teammates positioning. Because here there are 3 people mid, but 1 person top. Okay, he has TP. So he can TP. But he has to TP early if you want to actually make a play. Because otherwise you should just let this guy split push on top, right? And then the rest of you go mid. So you go 3 mid, 1 guy top. Then 3 guys can maybe take this, 1 guy can maybe take that. So then he doesn't even have to use his TP. Then he can save that TP and then go bot lane and force someone to go here when you play Baron. But instead it ends up in this.
I mean, you coached me like many times till this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think I improved in my decision making or like in my playstyle?
I think that first 23 minutes you are way above this level. Okay. Way above. But the reason why we don't end up winning this game is because of the fact that we are not playing good as a team. So I cannot sit and say you were the reason why you lost this game. But I can sit and say you did not adapt to the rest of your team and how they play. Because you can still be fed. Like, it doesn't matter that your mid laner is bad, right? You are saying, oh, my mid laner is bad. But that should not change you being bad. You can still be strong if your mid laner is bad.
So I can still 1v9 this game even if my mates are not in the game.
I mean, you can one-shot Seraphine and Ashe. Vladimir, he starts to get strong, so he will eventually outscale you. You can also duel the Graves, you did that multiple times, right? But you cannot do anything about Garen. So you can not completely 1v9 the game, but you can 1v9 in the sense that you can take good enough decisions that makes you able to get towards Soul or get enough gold or enough pressure that you can then get Baron. And with that Baron then push, because then you don't have to fight. If you take Baron, you don't want to fight, you just want to push. Then you don't have to fight the really fat Vladimir. Then you can just go, I take that tower, take this tower. This mid inhib is already down, I'll go to a second inhib. And then eventually you're doing this, you're just attacking this and they're defending.
So, I think in this game, I shouldn't buy the Prowler's thing. I think I should have go Serpent's thing, right?
Serpent's Fang, if you feel like the Seraphine shield's annoying, because she's the only shield champion, but she is AoE.
Like, I thought I can't one-shot or like burst the Ashe because of the Seraphine shield.
If she's isolated, then you can. Yeah. But if she's not isolated, then no, then you cannot. But it's like that with most champions. And it's again, in this situation, you do not have isolation on anyone. Because they're all just grouped together. Okay, on Graves you have isolation damage right now, but now you don't, for example. Now you have isolation on 0.
consider my playstyle. What champions do you like recommend me to play or like to learn? Like at the moment, my champion pool is J4, AP Shivana, Kha Zix, and maybe Knock.
I mean, all those champions are different because J4 he's early, and Kha Zix is mid, and AP Shyvana is late game. And same thing goes for, well, Nocturne is probably closer to mid, but he's like power farming, so he's a mix
Mid to late.
between mid and late game. Like he wants to just power farm like Shyvana, but he's strongest in mid game like Kha Zix. So all these three champions are different. They want to do different things. This guy wants to gank. This guy wants to free gank. If he cannot free gank, then farm to 6, play aggressive. This guy wants to power farm to level 6 every game and farm for most of the game and not fight too much.
So, would you consider me focusing on one playstyle, like for example, just playing champions, or like having 2 or 3 champions who are focusing on early game, or should I stick to that? But like for me, if I have like champions, like one is like they all have different playstyles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it would be confusing for me to play different champions from their like yeah, being strong, like when being strong?
I mean, from the information I have about this elo is that people make many mistakes in laning phase, so you should play a champion that can punish mistakes in laning phase. So therefore I would not recommend Shyvana because she cannot gank that good. Nocturne, I mean, he can once he gets to level 6, but he's also not the best. I'd say Kha Zix is fine, I'd say Jarvan is fine. Anything that can punish in laning phase where you can carry is good, because if you play power farming champions where you cannot gank in low elo, there will be games where, well, there'll be many games where if you played another champion, you would have impact and you could carry the game, but you cannot because of the champion you're playing and you lose the game really, really fast. So if anything, I would focus on Jarvan, Kha Zix, maybe Nocturne, and add something that's similar to that playstyle, and not focus too much on Shyvana. But you can also just go by win rate and say, well, if you have a 55% win rate on those champions, keep playing them. If you suddenly see your win rate go closer or below 50%, then it's probably time to stop playing them. Because Shyvana, for example, just got nerfed, so she's a little bit worse than before. And the other ones are still at the same level. Maybe one of those champions suddenly gets buffed. Well, maybe you should play that champion more. It's not really gonna be confusing to play different styles as long as you're aware of the fact that they're playing the way or the game differently. They want to do different things.
I think I'm not even like thinking about when my champion's strong. I'm just playing, like farming, and then taking the opportunities when I can kill someone, and then like snowballing from that point on.
Well, then you will probably not play many champions that are good at like invading and good at tempo, because those champions need to play around their power spikes. More or less all champions want to, but there are champions that are more relying on it than others. And that's essentially just a big part of the game. I don't think it's something that you can not learn and get to. I mean, probably even Diamond Elo will be difficult to get if you don't think about when you have a power spike and when you should play aggressive.
Like, I have like the playstyle, or like depending on the champions, right? But like most likely I'm ganking, like I'm doing my first ganks around level 3 and 6. And like at this point my laners died like 70 times already. And then they're like power pinging me. Like
well, I mean, we can look at it this way. In this game, what ended up happening? Here, I mean, here you just didn't go bot lane fast enough because you can be part of these 2 kills.
Yeah.
After Raptors, right? So after Raptors, you should just go here. You see them start fighting, but then you do red. Okay, you cannot be part of the first kill, but you can be part of the second kill. But you decide I want the red buff, so then Brands gets another kill.
So what I should there skip red buff, go take the kill, and then do red buff afterwards.
Yes, because Graves can not invade you, he's on top side. You know he's starting on bot side, and you know he's power farming towards top side. So he's on top side of the map right now. If your top
So-
laner ends up dying here, there's nothing you can do about that, but that doesn't change the fact that you can do something about bot lane.
Is taking a kill in early game always better than taking, like, for example, 2 or 3 camps?
Well, a kill should take less than 2-3 camps worth of time.
So it's about tempo, because I can go bot lane, take the kill. I have done plus, I don't know, like 350, 400, and then I can go back to doing the camps, and then base, and then I have more. I was more efficient in the time of what my enemy jungler could have done.
So you are here 236, right? So 236 you are farming. If you're saying you want to farm 3 jungle camps compared to a kill, well, farming 3 jungle camps on Kha Zix when there are these 3 jungle camps will take about a full minute. You'll be done with them almost a full minute later. So that's 60 seconds. A gank on bot side is not gonna take even 15 seconds. So from here, right? Does not take you 60 seconds to kill Seraphine by walking bot. It's gonna take 10 seconds most likely, max 15. So then you have 45 seconds left where you can then still farm in the same time frame, but you're already up with the same amount of gold. The only thing that's different is the fact that you get XP, but you don't get counter jungled here. You're not losing anything by ganking bot. Graves is top side. You already cleared your top side. There's nothing he can take. So it doesn't matter when you end up taking your red buff. You can always take a red buff here, but you cannot always take this kill. This kill is here for 20 seconds. If you don't take it, then it's gone. Red buff will be here, I mean, until Graves decides to invade it if you don't take it. But that's not going to be in the next 2 minutes, most likely.
So, just based on what we talked about, playstyle things, would you say it's the best options for me, or like the best early game options for me to play J4? Then yeah, I will stick to Kha Zix, of course, and then maybe like Sejuani or Amumu, something like that.
Sejuani and Moom are okay, but you cannot carry with those champions.
So I shouldn't. Is there a better option?
I mean, you can carry through decision making on tank champions, but when it comes to carry champion, you have to pick champs that deal damage, because you cannot carry games by tanking damage in low elo. You have to do damage.
Okay.
As I said, you can do Nocturne if you want to. Personally, I would not go Shyvana, but if you want to and if you have success with it, you can. Anything else you find fun, you should then pick up, as long as you're not bad at it. Because there are many different champions you can try out. In jungle you have, what, 50 champions almost you can pick? As long as you enjoy the champions, then you're fine. All you need to find is 1 to 4 champions you enjoy playing and stick to them, and then your elo will go up.
The thing that I want, I want to I want to have similar champions from the playstyle, right? So I want to have like in low elo, most people are like branded fighting, as you saw in the J4 game, right? I did a lot of mistakes. My team did a lot of mistakes, so we just traded gold like we are in Western, like cities or something like that, right? So what I want to do is I want to have like champions that are strong in early to mid game, and based on that I want to play champions. But at the moment I don't know which one. Maybe like Lee Sin is okay, I think, like Kindred, maybe Graves, something like that, because you said tanky jungler can't carry the game based on damage.
Let's see here. Give me a sec. Okay, so here's a list. This guy's challenger every season has been rank 1 before. So as you can see here, he says these are farming junglers till 6, unless it's a free kill. So this is where Nocturne and Kha Zix are at. Then you have level 2 or 3 gankers with no opportunity, you keep farming, so don't overforce. Here you have the Jarvan. And then can gank, but ideally they want to farm. There's not really any of your champions, unless no. And then, as you see, can't do anything. So
Yeah, the last like.
So your champion pool will probably be closer to this. These are probably the champions you want to look at. To choose from these, I would not recommend Nidalee because he's high skill cap. I would not recommend Lee Sin because he's high skill cap. Anyone else are fine for you to play. I think you can mechanically become good enough at the champions. Some of them are easier than others. And those are the ones that you would then focus on for your playstyle. So I would not focus on these ones down here. And ideally, you don't focus on this one either. You focus on these that are here. But you can obviously keep Kha Zix because you have success with him and you like playing him. And same thing goes for Nocturne if you have success and enjoy playing him.
Is Rel still strong?
She's still strong in jungle and she's a support. But how strong, I don't exactly know. Because I haven't played Rel jungle myself. Only played against it.
I think about like so most of the champions I played, right? What I think is maybe J4 Kha Zix. I played Belveth before. She's really good on snowballing. Trundle is fine, and maybe like Kindred Graves, something like that.
Kindred Graves are also fine. I probably also would not pick Qiyana. So I would not pick Nidalee. I would not pick Nidalee, Lee Sin, Qiyana. I think anyone else here are fine to play. It just comes down to how much do you enjoy playing them. Because you need to enjoy playing the champion in order to main it and play it a lot. So it's whatever you enjoy playing. But all of these champions are different kits, but they essentially want to do more or less the same thing. Like again, they can level 2 or 3 gank, but if it's not a good opportunity, you should not overforce on them. It's not like you have to gank on these champions. But you should, but you shouldn't overforce. It shouldn't be like, oh, I have to gank, so I will go do it. I have to go do it every game. No, but most games you most likely will end up doing it.
Okay.
So as you said, like I think Trundle is fine. He's not the strongest right now, but you can get away with him playing him in this elo. Kindred really strong in the meta right now. Graves quite strong in the meta right now. Jarvan decently strong in the meta right now. So
I think I will stick to Kha Zix, J4, Kindred, and Graves.
yeah.
But is there like any situation where one champion is better than like picking the other one?
I mean, this one does not like playing against True Sight. This one is the best at early ganking out of all of them. This one's good into many melee champions. Kindred is good into matchups where she can actually invade, so she can get her marks, right? So she would ideally want matchups where she's not gonna get instantly killed, right?
So like, I want to play Kindred against probably farming enemies.
Farming or tanks.
Okay.
And Kha Zix you'll play into champions you can actually kill, right? So you don't want to play Kha Zix into ideally tanks. Graves you can either play assassin or you can play him like tank bruiser style. Kindred more or less the same always. Even Jarvan you can play assassin if you want to, but most of the time it's just bruiser.
So I want to play Kha Zix against
squishy champions.
Okay. And Kindred, I just want to like.
She's like an 80 carry, so she essentially just scales. Yeah. So you will do damage to everyone. Graves depends what build you're going, and Jarvan is just early, right? So you want to play him. You essentially want to play Jarvan when enemy team is immobile and can move out of your ult. So if you play against a Jhin 80 carry, then you'll sit and camp that guy for the rest of the fucking game. He can't play. Play against Lux mid lane, you sit and camp him. But you don't pick him if enemy team has Ezreal 80 carry and Fizz mid lane. Because then even though you can gank, you will be useless because you can't gank.
Okay. So based on that, I need to stick to those champions. Like I played everything of those 4 champions. and I think like skill wise, I think it's Kha Zix, J4, uh, and then I have yeah. It depends on my like if I have hands or like no hands, but I think my Graves and my Kindred are like on the same level. Yeah.
Anything you see here on screen, I feel like you can play. If we want to make it even less, then remove that. Remove these two.
Poppy is also easy, right?
Poppy is easy and quite strong. She's good against like mobile champions, so she's the opposite of Jarvan and Kha Zix. Like anything that has a dash, she's good into. I probably also would not play Nautilus jungle. I don't know why the fuck that's on the list.
You see what this guy wrote in a Twitter comment, like the envy carry thing, like the guy. Like for example, with this, I don't agree. I think Kane is pretty much shit without his farm. Like
I mean, it depends. If he's playing against a Kha'Zix that doesn't have based for a serrated Dirk, then he's still fine. Like, you can still fight. And at some point, you have to fight for stacks anyway. So sometimes you'll just gank just to chunk people out to make it easier for your lane and just to get stacks yourself. But as I said, I think anyone that's left here are fine for you to play. If you want your playstyle specifically, then I'll just obviously not focus on these four here. In terms of who else power farms, I mean he's a power farmer, he's a power farmer.
what about Maokai and Zac? But they're also tanky, right? So
Maokai is really, really strong. He's like insane at position play. If you are first on objective, he'll zone people off. Zac is really good at ganks as well. Really good at engages, so...
but what about meta at the moment? Like in comparison?
Maokai is meta at the moment. Zac I wouldn't consider meta, but he's like alright. He's always just okay.
I thought like Maokai was meta like last season.
He's not as meta, he's not S tier, but he's still strong.
Okay.
He's like A tier.
So if I have like, let's say 2 or 3 hyper carry in the team, then I could maybe just even go, and then like no tanks, I could go Maokai as well.
Yeah, I mean, for Maokai, if you can just get on the objective first, even if you fall behind, it doesn't matter. You're always strong just off base items. You just want to play objectives, basically, and play for ganks.
Okay.
You don't have to... Then it just comes down to, can you play for your carries, right? So in that Jarvan game, play for Draven. You're a secondary support, basically.
Like Ivan or something like that.
Because you're only strong with Draven. You will never be strong without him.
Okay.
But anything left here is good. Okay, maybe not also this. This is also kind of useless. But you have 30, 40 champions to choose from still. And any of these are fine.
You know what the thing is? Like, based on this based on this tier list, like I saw the Nunu player, right? This, what is the name? Like Kesha?
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy, like he's fucking like, I think mental or something like that.
I mean, he's just streaming. He's just loud on stream screaming. That's it. That's his style.
But do you think that that this is like his personality, or do you think he's like just playing?
No, every streamer is exaggerated. Everyone is 100% himself when they're streaming. Because people are fucking boring. Like, you might be funny, like, I don't know, 5 hours a day, but you cannot be funny for 12 hours straight.
Like, I saw him, and he's like turning the music off every like 10 seconds and then screaming all the time. And I'm like, how is this guy even playing high elo, man? Like,
I mean, he plays a somewhat easy champion, so he's just chilling. But yes, there are a lot of people who get headaches from watching him. I also don't watch him, but I know who he is. And I think he's funny, but I just get headache if I watch him. And that's not against him. It's just too much for me to watch him. But other people like it. Don't think there's anything wrong with that.
do you saw the discussion between Dantes and Agurin?
Yes, I saw it.
Do we have any thoughts on that? Like, I think that Agurin is better playstyle wise. Like, he's more stable in his play, but Agurin is literally full killing every fucking game.
I mean, I haven't studied Agarin for over a year now, but Agarin has accomplished more, so his playstyle in solo queue makes him a better solo queue player. But Dantes will sometimes be bored and not have the same patience and force something that he doesn't need to force. He will sometimes overforce. Agarin will do it less, but Agarin will tax a lot on his laners so that he can get level advantage, and with that level advantage, then he will eventually look for something.
So Dantes is just taking more aggressive or like more risky plays than Agurin, and Agurin is basically just.
Dantes just has less patience than Agarin, so Dantes will sometimes force something he doesn't have to force. He will play more aggressive. He will go in just because he's bored, not because it's a good play or it's a bad play, just because he thinks that okay, something has to happen. But it's difficult to say with streamers because no streamer is playing 100% good unless if they play 3-minute delay and don't talk.
Yeah, because then they are like focused.
So we don't know who is better, but just from who accomplished more, Agarin accomplished more. But in terms of who plays better with this entire proactive and reactive, it comes down to can you play proactive and reactive? Sometimes you have to play proactive, sometimes you have to play reactive. Sometimes it depends on matchups, sometimes it depends on power spikes, sometimes it depends on who has tempo, what are the different lanes. Like you have to be able to do both. You can't say that proactive is always better than reactive because you cannot always be proactive. Sometimes you have to chill and do nothing for 30 seconds. And other times you have to sit and do something. You cannot sit and play chill against Kassadin. You have to play aggressive. But you can also not sit and play aggressive as Karthus against a Fet Nidalee or a Fet Lee Sin. So you have to be able to do both. There's no point in saying, oh, one is better than the other.